Are you hitting your 40s and suddenly finding yourself angrier than you've ever been? You're snapping at your partner over nothing, losing your temper in traffic, or feeling an overwhelming sense of rage that seems to come from nowhere. You're not losing it. Something real is happening in your body, and it has a name. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss the science behind what's actually going on with your health and mood. What you're experiencing might be perimenopause, andropause, thyroid dysfunction, or a combination of hormonal and metabolic changes that typically accelerate in your 40s. The frustration is that nobody talks about it, so you end up thinking you're alone, you're broken, or you're just becoming an angry person. The truth is far more treatable than that. Let's start with the most common culprit: hormonal shifts. If you're a woman in your 40s, your estrogen and progesterone levels are beginning to fluctuate in ways they haven't since puberty. Perimenopause, the transition into menopause, can last anywhere from 4 to 10 years, and it doesn't announce itself with a calendar date. It creeps in, and one of the first signs is mood volatility. Estrogen doesn't just regulate your menstrual cycle, it directly impacts serotonin production, the neurotransmitter responsible for emotional regulation and mood stability. When your estrogen drops unexpectedly, so does your serotonin, and suddenly you're experiencing rage, irritability, and anxiety that feels disproportionate to whatever triggered it. Progesterone is another piece of this puzzle. Progesterone is your body's natural calming agent. It binds to GABA receptors in your brain. GABA is essentially your nervous system's brake pedal. When progesterone levels drop, your body loses one of its primary mechanisms for staying calm. This is why you might feel fine one moment and completely unraveled the next. Your brain chemistry is literally shifting. The sad part is that many women are told their rage is psychological or emotional, when it's actually biochemical. They're prescribed antidepressants when what they actually need is hormone support, dietary changes, and an understanding of what's really happening. But here's the thing. Men experience this too, and we almost never talk about it. Andropause, sometimes called male menopause, is the male equivalent of perimenopause. Around 40, testosterone levels begin a gradual decline of roughly 1% per year. For many men, this is perfectly fine and barely noticeable. But for others, the mood shifts can be dramatic. Low testosterone is directly linked to irritability, aggression, depression, and a short fuse. Unlike the relatively sudden hormonal cliff that some women experience, men's hormonal shift is slower and more subtle. Which means many men don't realize what's happening. They think they're just becoming grumpier with age, when in fact their hormone levels are changing in real, measurable ways. Now, hormones are only part of the story. Your thyroid is another major player. The thyroid is your body's metabolic engine, and thyroid dysfunction becomes far more common in your 40s. When your thyroid is underactive, a condition called hypothyroidism, your metabolism slows down, your energy plummets, and your mood suffers dramatically. People with hypothyroidism report feeling foggy, exhausted, and inexplicably irritable. They snap at loved ones, feel depressed, and can't explain why. The worst part is that standard thyroid screening often misses this. Many doctors only check TSH, your thyroid-stimulating hormone. But TSH alone doesn't tell the full story. You need to know your free T3, free T4, and your thyroid antibodies to get a complete picture. If your thyroid is struggling, fixing it can absolutely transform your mood and your rage levels. Then there's blood sugar dysregulation. In your 40s, your insulin sensitivity decreases. This means your body isn't managing blood glucose as efficiently as it did when you were younger. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes, you experience mood swings, irritability, and intense emotional reactions. You might feel fine after breakfast, then by 11 in the morning, you're inexplicably angry. By 1 in the afternoon, you're crashing. This cycle repeats throughout the day, and you're constantly riding an emotional roller coaster. The solution is often simpler than you'd think. Prioritize protein and healthy fats at every meal, reduce refined carbohydrates, and eat in a way that stabilizes your blood sugar. When your blood sugar is stable, your mood is stable. Sleep deprivation is another major contributor that most people overlook. Your 40s are often when sleep quality deteriorates. Whether it's due to hormonal changes, stress, sleep apnea, or just the accumulated demands of life, poor sleep is absolutely correlated with mood volatility and rage. When you're sleep deprived, your amygdala, the part of your brain that processes emotions and threat, becomes hyperactive. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking and emotional regulation, becomes suppressed. Essentially, you're walking around with an overactive emotional brain and an underactive rational brain. You're more reactive, less patient, and prone to explosive anger over minor things. If you're not sleeping well, that's probably your first intervention point. Stress and nervous system dysregulation play huge roles too. Your 40s often come with accumulated stress, career pressures, family responsibilities, financial concerns, and the weight of accumulated life experience. If you've been in a state of chronic stress, your nervous system can become locked in a sympathetic or fight-or-flight state. Your cortisol levels might be high, your vagus nerve tone might be poor, and your body is essentially primed for threat 24/7. When you're living in that state, everything feels like an attack. Someone bumps into you in the grocery store, and suddenly you're enraged. Your partner asks an innocent question, and you bite their head off. It's not really about the situation. It's about your nervous system being dysregulated. Inflammation is another silent culprit. Chronic low-grade inflammation increases with age, and it directly impacts mood and emotional regulation. Inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 are elevated in people with mood disorders and aggression issues. You might not feel acutely inflamed, but your body could be in a state of smoldering inflammation from your diet, your stress levels, your sleep deprivation, or your lack of movement. This inflammation affects your brain chemistry and makes emotional regulation harder. So what can you actually do about this? First, get comprehensive blood work. Request a full hormone panel, a complete thyroid panel, fasting glucose and insulin levels, inflammatory markers, and vitamin D, B12, and iron status. So many of these issues are completely addressable once you know what you're dealing with. If you find hormonal imbalance, there are options. Some people benefit from bioidentical hormone therapy, others from lifestyle changes alone. Work with a doctor who understands this transition. Second, stabilize your blood sugar. This single intervention can dramatically improve your mood. Eat protein-rich foods, include healthy fats, reduce processed carbohydrates, and don't skip meals. Your brain needs stable fuel. When you eat in a way that supports blood sugar stability, your mood naturally stabilizes too. Third, prioritize sleep like it's your most important health metric. Because it is. Aim for 7 to 9 hours. Create a dark, cool bedroom environment. Stop using screens an hour before bed. If you're having trouble sleeping, investigate why. Sleep apnea is incredibly common in your 40s and is a treatable condition that many people live with unknowingly. Fourth, move your body daily. Exercise is one of the most powerful mood regulators available. It reduces cortisol, increases endorphins, improves sleep quality, and helps regulate blood sugar. You don't need to run marathons. Consistent moderate movement, walking, strength training, yoga, cycling, makes a profound difference. Fifth, address your stress and nervous system regulation. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, time in nature, and activities that bring you joy aren't luxuries. They're essential maintenance for your nervous system. If you're constantly in fight or flight mode, your rage will follow naturally. Sixth, look at your diet more broadly. Reduce inflammatory foods like seed oils, processed foods, and excess sugar. Increase whole foods, vegetables, healthy fats, and omega-3 fatty acids. Your gut and your brain are deeply connected. What you eat affects your mood more directly than most people realize. Finally, be patient and compassionate with yourself. You're not crazy. You're not becoming an angry person. Your body is changing, and you're dealing with real, measurable physiological shifts. These changes are manageable. Thousands of people in their 40s have navigated this exact situation and come out the other side feeling better, more stable, and more like themselves than they've felt in years. If this video has been helpful, please like it and share it with someone in your life who might be experiencing similar rage and mood swings. Leave a comment and tell me, are you currently experiencing unexplained mood shifts in your 40s? And have you investigated the root cause yet? What's held you back from getting answers? Your experience could help someone else in this community. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into what's actually happening with your health in your 40s and beyond. I'll see you in the next